our episode 2, we asked Dr. Moyo why he did not join the existing parties, preferring instead to form his own political party.
I think the starting point is, again, why are we where we are? And a clarity on what do those other parties believe in terms of, as far as they can. So if we start with ZANU, we are where we are because of ZANU, right? And therefore, if I believe in a completely different configuration to build a different country, a country that feels differently, treats citizens differently, runs an economy differently, why would I join a platform which demonstrates that they do not know? They don't, let's say they don't believe in what I believe in. It's like going to a church that believes in a completely different way of worship. Why would I do that? Yeah? In terms of the other, what are called opposition parties, my challenge to them and Zimbabweans generally is look at the evidence and then listen to what they say. Their agenda, in my humble opinion, is to remove Mugabe. And you don't hear anything else beyond that articulated. And I'm arguing that that is not enough. Because in many ways, that's what we did when we removed Ian Smith. We said, we don't want that person, but what we then proceeded to do was to replace that person or that regime and run the same system. Surely Zimbabweans have learned that that is not good enough. We ought to have a minimum 2 objectives. The first one is, yes, to change what is there, because it's not delivering what we want. The second one, which is even more important, is clarity on what will put in its place. And I'm quite happy to talk to anybody who can articulate what is going to be put in place of what is there. And if we find that there is a common understanding, an alignment, then we work together by all means.
Taking that question further, now in Zimbabwe, people are busy with coalitions. Part B, getting into a coalition with Part A, Part C, Part... Why not at least get into that coalition?
But coalition to do what? That's my point. I need to understand the objectives before I... You see, it's almost like company mergers. When you either you can merge to diversify, which in a corporate sense, there is a rationale to it, or you merge because you are in the same market, same space, same products, in terms of what you're trying to offering to the consumer. Those are the 2 rationales for merging. So if I'm going into a coalition with you, I need to be clear what it is that we're going to get out of working together. If we don't believe in the same thing, what does it mean to work together? It means we're going to end up diluting who we are, what we believe in. How do we now communicate to our followers? So my followers today follow me because I've sold to them what I believe in. Your followers follow you because you've sold what you believe in. That's what you've gotten them to buy into. Now, if those 2 things are divergent and you two, we come together, now we have to reformulate. We must logically reformulate what we believe in, right? Either you are taking me over or I'm taking you over, or we are coming somewhere in between. Either way, so if I'm joining you and deserting what I sold to my followers, those followers are likely to come with me, are they? And vice versa. If we are diluting where we started off from, what they bought into, and we're coming up with a new belief system in between, now we've got a problem of convincing both our followers. Why should they continue to follow us? So there is a fallacy in the logic of coalitions, unless you are telling me something else. Unless you are saying to me, these entities are actually not different. They are not different. So then I would have to ask you, so why are they operating differently today? Who are they? What do they believe in? Do they believe in anything or in nothing? So there are all these questions to be asked and answered about a coalition. And I don't have the answers, but like I say, we are open to engage. And if we can identify and align what we believe in, beyond getting rid of the current regime, then we'll talk and cooperate.
Then we've got your doubting Thomases who always say, once ZANU-PF, always ZANU-PF.
But I was never ZANU-PF.
Yes. In terms of working within the ZANU-PF government, their question is now, this is one of President Robert Mugabe's projects trying to divide attention, divide votes. What do you answer to that?
So let's go back. Why did I go into a ZANU-PF government in the first place when I did? I went into a ZANU-PF government because I'm very consistent. I wanted to save my country. I wanted to save Zimbabweans, not ZANU-PF. And what had been sold to me was that I would help ZANU-PF address Zimbabweans as a whole, the country. And I said, if that's what's on offer, by all means. But after 10 months, I realized that ZANU-PF were getting me in to serve their way, their agenda, which has got nothing to do with the people. And at that point, I said, you know what? I fundamentally differ from this way of doing things because I think a government is there to serve the people. That's why I left. Now, if anybody can reconcile that with being a ZANU project, then clearly my logic fails me somewhere because I do not see the consistency. I left because I did not want to be a ZANU project. I went in because I was offered, or the story that was sold to me was to help ZANU become more acceptable in delivering services to the people of Zimbabwe, citizens of Zimbabwe, not ZANU people. I went in as a non-ZANU person. That in itself seemed to say, we can accommodate people with skills even when they are not ZANU-PF. Because our intention is to do what? To serve Zimbabweans broadly. There is a logic that is consistent. But when that was not followed through by action, then I said, no, this is not working, and I left. And I would have thought that's sufficient demonstration that I cannot be a ZANU project. I want to serve Zimbabweans, all of them. Incidentally, including people who carry today ZANU cards. I know from experience there are a lot of Zimbabweans who will carry ZANU cards because they need to feed their families. And I think the other danger, incidentally, going back to a coalition, of presenting yourself as if you are fighting, if you're not clear, if you are fighting ZANU as opposed, I'm competing through what I'm offering with President Mugabe as a leader. You are setting yourself off from day one in appearing to be inimical to other citizens who happen to be in ZANU today. My attitude is no. I am offering my skill set to Zimbabweans as a whole, including those who sit in MDC, those who sit in ZANU, those who sit in any other party. As citizens of Zimbabwe, if I become president, when I become president, I will be their president, even if they didn't vote for me. That is what's not happening in our country today. In understanding that when you are a president, you are supposed to be a president for everybody. You cannot go into Cholocho when there is a drought and say in order to be fed, you need to produce a ZANU card. That is wrong. It is fundamentally so flawed that it beats me. I continue to marvel at just how flawed that model is. You are a president for all people. In fact, your behavior should make those who didn't vote for you this time round say, you know what, next time I'll vote for this guy because actually he or she has demonstrated that she or he understands what a president is for everybody.
And the fear as we go towards elections is this working machinery within ZANU-PF. Everyone says elections will not work because we go into them and we sing the same chorus.
Yeah.
What do you think your party will do to avoid being a casualty of these rankings that we always see?
Yeah. Firstly, one is to acknowledge that that fear is real. So it's not people just imagining things that don't happen. I mean, we know that of recent, Joyce Mujuru, who used to be at the core of that system, has come out and said, I know, that's what we do. That's what we used to do when I was part of the system. So we know that Zimbabweans are not just worrying about something that is theoretical, it's real. But I think what is equally true is that when a population en masse decides that they've had enough of any regime, they will mobilize in sufficient numbers to overwhelm any of these tinkerings. Yeah? So our biggest risk is that Zimbabweans are not turning up in large enough numbers to make rigging very difficult. So what we ought to be doing is to excite all of those Zimbabweans who have not been participating in elections, a number which is somewhere in the region of about 60% of eligible voters. Those are the people we should be convincing that when you turn up to vote, it actually makes it very, very difficult to rig the election. So let's go and register and vote en masse to overwhelm the rigging machinery? That's the answer.